And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another week, another edition of the PiGosaur Cup. PiGosaur Cup number 59, your weekly dose of PiGosaur Cup action. I'm of course just VIP with you and joined by these amazing players, by the P1 chats and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all. As we are jumping into our first series of the broadcast. If you're in the chat, exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we are jumping into our first series and spawning in the top right hand corner of Tourmaline. We have the green Protoss player, the green Protoss himself. It is Apple Juice. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the red Terran player. It is Matrix. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our initial best of 3 round of 32 match. As we get into this, a big shout out to Slow Joe in the chat. God, thank you so much for gifting a couple of subs in the chat. Gifting a sub to Getya and gifting a sub to Gnome Chomsky as well. Gracias, Papa Gracias. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it as always. And again, it's great to be back here once again with PiGosaur Cup, covering it live. We've been doing a lot of replay casts as of late, and to be fair, we were here live last week, but if you remember, the incident went down, and I hope that it doesn't go down here this week. Fun fact, a thunderstorm just started. just started thundering outside. It hasn't started raining yet, but there's a thunderstorm, so hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully there's no power outage or there's no drop when it comes to internet this time. Last week that was the case. Hopefully this time we're able to maintain ourselves. If you remember last week, I think the internet went down. Ooh, I think we were in the quarterfinals. We were covering Percival versus ByuN. That's it, Percival versus ByuN in the quarterfinals, and we didn't get to cover the semis or finals because of that. It was very smudge. It was very, very smudge. This time, hopefully we can cast the entire event. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. For now, though, we're going to be settling in. We do have our standard openers. So far, so good. We have an economic opener out of Matrix going Rax Expand. Meanwhile, Apple Juice going for his own Gate Expand into Cybercore. Ooh, Matrix going for the bunker behind the mineral line. Reaper is going to be on the way. And the goal here is to get behind the mineral line and deny as much mining time as possible, disrupt the economy of the Protoss. Now, coming into the series very quickly, Apple Juice is a GM player. We've casted Apple Juice before. He is a GM. He's more of an amateur player, though, I will say that. Matrix I'm unfamiliar with. This is not the same as Matrix. Matrix was is a Polish Protoss player, but he does have multiple X's in his name. This is Matrix, a very different kind of player, I believe, from the Americas. I'm not entirely certain, not fully aware, but regardless, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's see what you have to offer. As he does try to pick in. Pokes in, pulls away. Twilight Council opener out of Apple Juice, heading into Blink, I would imagine, getting into a standard opener. And welcome, of course, to Tourmaline. Again, it's only, I think it's been like 3 weeks at this point, but I feel like I still haven't casted enough of some of these maps. It's been quite some time since we've had the new map pool, but I guess part of it is also because we haven't been casting the What TV Mondays on a regular basis. So true, like with less of that and with less PiGosaur Cup, like we've just been a little bit less engrossed in the new map pool, unfortunately. As the boys being pulled down, the boys are pulled, the Reapers are shut down. A bit of miscontrol there by Matrix, getting surrounded, but some nice movement out of Apple Juice, locking down those Reapers, and that should not have happened. Yeah, that should not have happened. The bunker is denied, of course, and Apple Juice, he will defend. And with that, so far so good for the Protoss. Robo's on the way, extra gateways as well. So far, 2 gates, going to be 3 gate Blink, I would imagine. Meanwhile, back at home, Matrix, he's getting to his own 3-1 setup here. No starport. So this is going to be a second and third racks before the starport. This tells us this is hyper aggressive, and there's a very high chance this turns into a 2-base all-in. As we're delaying medevac production, we're delaying any kind of starport play in favor of Stim, in favor of mass bio. But before that happens, without that Cyclone, this Stalker is being so annoying. Oh, doesn't get a Stalker, so doesn't get a Marine. Marine does survive. A couple of boys are pulled away. Oh, SCVs are going down. Losing 1 SCV so far. The other 2 do get away. Oh. And Matrix holds. Matrix does hold on. A bit of a messy defense here for Matrix, but does hold nonetheless. Lack of bunker here on the low ground is concerning, bearing in mind that we are very Marine heavy. But the tank is on the way. Once the tank arrives, we should be okay for the time being. I say for the time being because I believe, how many gateways do we have? 3 in the main base, 1 at the natural, 4-gate blink. Hyper aggressive out of Applejuice. Rushing into 4-gate blink Stalker. Prism is on the way. We're going to double down. We're going to commit. And without a bunker on the low ground, I think Applejuice may just win. Matrix, his army is so vulnerable, so exposed. His army is stronger defensively back at home. Pre-siege with SimCity with bunkers. Oh, does snipe the Prism though. Okay. Prism does a move in. Prism goes down. And suddenly Matrix, he can make this work. He can make this work. The Cyclone barely does survive. But we shouldn't be pushing. Matrix, he shouldn't be pushing. Loving the siege here on the tall graph. Tank shot goes off. It gets one, gets two. Gets 2 Stalkers, not bad. 2 Stalkers are a Cyclone. Cyclone's already going to go down. And Matrix, he pulls the boys. Again, 2 base all in, as we mentioned before. The Tell was no add-on. Tell was no starport. Boys are being pulled. But is there enough here to really make this work? The boys are spotted. Applejuice does not have to go in. There we go. There's the LT. Now he can dive. Heading back. Picking up a couple of SCVs. 3 ACV kills. Picking up some Marines as well. The boys are meant to be there to buffer, but that's a lot of Marines falling. That's a lot of DPS going down. It's a bit of miscontrol here from Matrix. As he does siege. Still continuing to rally. I mean, his tanks are still up and running. Immortal is still on the way. And Applejuice has to wait for Matrix to try to push forward here, with those tanks specifically. Tank is edging ever closer. Immortal has arrived. Here comes that 3rd tank. We gotta go on top of it. Yeah, there goes a warp in. Then down goes the first tank. He gets 1, he gets 2. 1 more tank shot goes off. It's a lot of Stalkers going down, but alas, it looks like Applejuice, he should have enough. Yeah, should have enough. Takes out every single tank. Bunker goes down. The Immortal did survive. And with an extra warp in here, Applejuice should have enough to clean everything up, and he will. Takes out the tanks, the SCVs, and every single Marine, and there is nothing left here. We still have a rally across the map, but GG gets called, and Applejuice will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG well played. A bold move out of Matrix to go for the 2 base all in. When he did, it did feel like it was still lacking a little bit of teeth there. It did have a decent engage in the center of the map, catching the Warp Prism, catching a couple of Stalkers as well. Very impressive initial engage, but you saw how long it took for the tanks to get within range of anything meaningful. Even though the tanks were sieged up, technically within range of the natural, only within the range of a gateway. So there was nothing pressuring Applejuice. He had so much time to warp in, to wait for the Immortal specifically. If we were a little bit more assertive there from Matrix, if the tanks are able to push forward first and get within range of the Robo, siege up and shut the Robo down before the Immortal pops out, different story then and there. But again, he was a little bit more conservative with how he placed his tanks, again only within range of the first gateway, and it did give a lot of time for extra warp-ins, extra reinforcements, extra economy, extra minerals, and of course the Immortal as well. With that GG well played. With that, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the right hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the green Protoss player. We have green Protoss himself representing Team Pigpen. It is Applejuice. Get that juice, Pappy. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player, the red Terran himself. It is Matrix. Let's go. Let's go. Terrans are going for 2 weeks all-ins, which chances are much better in the late game. Chances are much better in the late game. If you've been watching StarCraft as of late, you'll know that there's a reason why the pro scene, the pro Terran players like, not just ByuN has always been doing it, but players like Clem, players like Bunny, Cure, Percival, a lot of the top Terran players have now started to stop going for 2 base all-ins and have started going for more mid to late game play. Again, this has been a shift in recent times because of the latest patch and because of the new map pool as well. So 2 base all-ins have fallen out of meta. Again, the TVP meta has been shifting a lot over the past year. Shifting a lot. We're out of the 2 base all-in phase. Of course, Matrix is going for it, but again, I was referring to the top level of Terran play. Here we go. Here we go. For now, we do have, once again, a single gas opener, but we have Matrix going for a Rax into a factory before CC. So an interesting opener here out of our Terran. And now going for a later second gas. But basically delayed CC. Delayed CC, with this we have a more tech-heavy start. We can lead this into Reactor Reaper Hellion. We can go into earlier Cyclones, into a Cyclone drop, early tank production, or even into an earlier 1-1-1, into earlier Banshee play. So we have a lot of options here for Matrix. We'll see where he takes us. Here we go. As Matrix does hide an SCV across the map, but we're going proxy starports. Yeah, there it is. Proxy starport is on the way. We're going for a Hellion drop. Now, I say Hellion drop. Technically, this could be a Hellion harass at the natural and a Liberator into the main base. So this could be proxy Liberator, but there's a higher chance it's going to be medevac into Hellion drop instead. So Matrix is setting up. 2 bases or too many. 1 base all the time. True, true. 1 base all in. Pappy. I mean, unironically, there is no natural bases, no CC. Hyper committed play here for Matrix. And we'll see if Applejuice can get a read on what's going on. So far, it is going to be a Twilight Council back at home, getting to blink once again. Applejuice doesn't really have much vision. He did scout the factory across the map. He saw the racks. But he has not confirmed the CC. And there's no sentry. Oh, nice read though. I mean, he did spot the Hellions. So Applejuice, he's fully walling off. This is the correct move to go for against this build. The reality is you don't know if the Hellions are going to come into the natural or coming into the main. Drop into the main base, and Applejuice, he is in position. He's got his full wall off going. But how many stalkers does he have? Only 1. Oh, good. He's only got 1 stalker. No. Warp gate is just not finishing up. We need a warp in. Oh, the Hellions do not dive. He spotted the stalker. He's going to boost in. Yeah, he's going for the mineral line. Rushing on forward. 4 Hellions there with 1-shots. So far gets 5. Ooh, the workers do line up. Yeah, they line up for a moment there. So far, oh no! Oh my god, 9 probes going down. 1 more volley. He gets it. 14 probe kills. Ay, crippling damage in the main. But there's something scary about this. On the one hand, this is some nice damage. On the other hand, remember, Matrix did heavily delay his natural. Like, we could have still gone for this build, just going for a Rax factory into CC, but because we went starport first, it does mean that Matrix also still has a lower worker count. He's still in a better economy, but not as good as otherwise could be. And oh my god, we are going into a Dark Shrine. Really awkward position though. We have a Dark Shrine alongside all the other tech. It's here in the main. There's a high chance that if this medevac goes back into the main base, he will scout this. Yeah, when behind a Dark Shrine, DTs are on the way. Matrix is now finishing up his own natural. Matrix is in a better economic position. But if he mules too hard, these DTs can wreak havoc. Oh boy. Here we go. Dark Shrine is almost done. Prism is moving out. Applejuice is pushing. Now, we have seen the best Terran players in the world GG out in this kind of game state. We've seen ByuN, we've seen Cure, we've seen top Terrans insta GG if DT show up, if they mule at the wrong moment. But I believe there is energy in the main. Yeah, there is a scan. There's 1 scan available. Does he mule? He's holding onto it. Yeah, he's holding onto it. The first tank is going to go down. Ooh. Some rough tank shots though, and the tank survives. Oh my god, the tank survives. Matrix holds, and this is looking disastrous here for Applejuice. Where those Dark Templar? Again, he's still holding onto the scan. He's still holding onto that energy. There's a safety turret as well. Wow. Safety turret. The DTs, they do nothing, and Applejuice is falling far behind. He's drew away the stalkers. Do you have a scan? Oh, he just muled. Oh, God. He just muled. No shot. Free damage. How many kills do we have? 7, 8, 9. There we go. Really unfortunate moment to mule there. Oh, warped in within range of the scan. And that was some nice damage, getting some Marines here in between the bases. But overall, Matrix does hold. Matrix does take a lead. And Matrix can turn this into a 2-base all-in, bearing in mind that Apple Juice is expanding, right? Apple Juice is getting a 3rd base, he's taking him in towards charge. But there's a very shaky follow-up here out of the Protoss player, and Matrix may just be able to build up on 2 bases and pull the boys. 3rd CC is on the way. I'll be honest, I prefer the idea of him going for a 2-base all-in here to just kill Apple Juice. Going for a 3rd base is going to give Apple Juice a chance to recover. Apple Juice, he will have the opportunity. We'll see if he can take it. Matrix still being active, going for a drop here across the map. Gets 1, 2, 3 pro kills. Decent damage. Didn't lose much, not yet. Oh god! As a matter of it takes a lot of hits, but does barely get away. And here comes the main push. There's still a 3rd command center behind this, but this is still quite dedicated. There's a lot here. Okay, we just pull the boys. Fake 3rd CC. we just pull the boys, Pappy. Let's go. Let's go. Matrix, he commits. He's got his 4 tanks. Prison moves out. Spots the main army. True. Apple just can he get on top of the unsieged tanks? Can he try to line this up? He does have a decent amount of zealots. Observer gets spotted. And here he comes. And he does go for the dive. The tanks do siege up a little bit too late. The tank save will go down. Massive pickups here. Zealots to get all 4 tanks. Ay, ay, ay. And with that, Matrix will lose everything. He'll lose the entire army. Gets completely swallowed up. At the same time, dropped to the main base. This is getting more damage done. And going for the Apoptosis pylon. Does he get it? Barely does, so he'll lose everything. We'll lose the drop and we'll lose momentum as well. Matrix, alas, he was unable to break out across the map. He was unable to siege up in time. He lost everything. Yes, he has a 3rd CC, but he just lost a wave of workers. And now that economic advantage isn't really there anymore, and Apple Juice is moving out. He's moving out, and 0 tanks to defend, 0 bunkers. The Zealots, they will trade well. They can even try to force some friendly fire. Oh. Juice does pull away. Pulls away, still reinforcing. Prism into the main base. And as Apple Juice distracts, Prism goes in, and here comes a massive warping into the main. He's going for the mineral line. We got a DT in the mix as well. He can go for the turret itself. Yeah, it does go for the turret. Nice dodge. And again, Matrix had such a good start. he had such a good start back. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was just a really poor fight across the map. Those 4 tanks basically did nothing. They did nothing. They buffered, I suppose, for the Bio army. But again, they were just late siege up. It wasn't just that they were late to siege. I should also give credit to Apple Juice. Oh, as he is moving in. Has to be careful. But Apple Juice, he had the Observer. The Observer saw everything. That's why he pounced when he did. He spotted the move out. He spotted the army. He's able to dive in, recognizing that it was vulnerable. And Matrix, he's going down to 20 SCVs. Again, barely anything left here. But a shout out to Matrix, he held his own. Like, I was favoring Apple Juice quite heavily here. But game 1 and game 2, like, these were actual builds. Found himself in a better position here the second game. That's a kill in the CC. But from here, he's up against the wall, losing his base, losing his economy. Matrix does have a larger standing army, and he can try to take a fight. Speaking of, gets a Stalker. Oh! Snips it. Does he get the Prism? Barely not. Prism does get away. And GG. With that, Apple Juice will take the series 2-0. He'll advance on into the round of 16. GG. GG, well played. You can sense the frustrations there from Matrix because he was in a better position, right? Like, he defended well against the initial opener. Sorry, he was able to deal some decent damage. He was able to defend and shut down the DT counterattack as well. Matrix, he was in a good position, and then it did slip through his fingers. Did slip away. Unfortunately, when it came to the push across the map, he got caught on siege. He lost all 4 tanks for nothing, for maybe a couple of zealots here and there, but he lost all his tanks. From there, he lost the bio and he lost the game. He just lost too much momentum. He had nothing to defend back at home. No bunkers, no safety tanks. GG. GG, well played. Oh. And with that, that leads us here into... that leads us into the round of 16. This is also an example, by the way, of why we've seen less 2-base all-ins in this matchup, specifically in this map pool. We've already been talking about this, but for those that maybe haven't been watching much StarCraft as of late, in latest patch and latest map pool, we have a lot of larger maps, and because of that, all-ins are weaker. When it comes to what maps to favor all-ins, I'm thinking of Ruby Rock, I'm thinking of Tourmaline. Those are the two that come to mind. Outside of that, I could be forgetting one. Let me just double check here. Yeah, I'm thinking Ruby Rock, I'm thinking Tourmaline, and there might be one other here. All right, 10,000 feet, that's it, 10,000 feet. Those are the 3 maps that are like decent for 2-base all-ins, but outside of that, the rest of the maps are very large. They're very, very large, longer rush distance by ground, and if you attempt to all-in on them, there's a higher chance that your opponent is able to shut it down and defend. That's why we've seen players actually step away from that hyper-aggressive play and embrace the mid-game and embrace later games as well. Whew. But regardless, let's head on over. Let's head on over here to the bracket, exclamation mark B in the chat. Have a look at the back yourselves. Let us head on over, and from the top we do have some results coming in. We have Clem. Clem is up against Hacker's Top in the second round. Oh. Clem is up against Hacker's Top in the second round. Hacker's Top, of course, is a Ukrainian random player. Scrolling down, we have Percival versus Shameless. That's going to be a rematch. Let's go. They're going to be facing off in that TVP. Beautiful. They're going to be facing off. Honestly, that's going to be a really spicy matchup that could go either way. We then have Solar versus Reaper in a ZVZ, assuming that Reaper plays Zerg. I know the Reaper's been playing and off-racing a lot of Protoss as of late, so there's a chance that we might see some Protoss there instead. Scrolling down, we have Cure. Cure is up against Nice. Always great to see Nice once again. Nice did retire quite some time ago, like a year or 2 years ago, but in recent months, Nice has been playing again and streaming again as well. Not competing he's not necessarily focusing on competing and improving and becoming and committing to, you know, going pro again, but instead just playing casually and has been having some success. So shout out to Nice. Definitely a lot less pressure on him nowadays. But Nice is up against Cure. We then have herO. herO, he's waiting for the winner of Bomilja and Prome. That's going to be a PvP into another Protoss, so best of luck. And scrolling down, we have Nickrat versus Creator in a TvP. Honestly, that's also going to be a spicy series that could go either way. Best of luck to Creator, best of luck to Nickrat. Nickrat is a TvP sniper, so if you're a Protoss out there, you know, fear Nickrat is what I will say. Fear him. Scrolling down, we have our next series. It's going to be AppleJuice versus MaxPax. That's going to be our next best of 3 in the round of 16. I assume that's going to be a PvP, but I do know that AppleJuice, he is GM with all 3 races, so he might play random, he might play Zerg, he might play Terran. We'll see what race he prefers to play against Protoss. Or might just commit to the mirror matchup. We'll see. Scrolling down, we have ByuN. ByuN, he is up against Epic in a Terran versus Terran matchup as well. Now, when it comes to the overall lineups here and what we are going for and why we decide to jump into AppleJuice versus Matrix, I did have 2 options here. I was thinking about the quarterfinals mainly. And I was mainly thinking about, do I want to cover Solar versus Cure? The potential, I should say, because there's always potential for upsets, always potential. But I was thinking of either covering Solar versus Cure in the quarterfinals or covering MaxPax versus ByuN in the quarterfinals. I wanted to avoid the mirror matchups, so that would be avoiding herO versus Creator, for example, the potential herO versus Creator, or the potential Clem versus Clem versus Shameless or Clem versus Percival. I do think that that'll be a little bit more one-sided, so I wanted to cover some of the closer matches and also avoid the mirrors. So I was thinking of either Solar versus Cure or MaxPax versus ByuN. Did decide to commit to the MaxPax and ByuN matches. I think some of the other casters are covering the Zerg players. So I think they're covering that. But again, so we're going to be folding AppleJuice into MaxPax into the winner of ByuN and Epic. Is the plan. Go. Clem wants a rematch versus Percival. I think they already rematched, right? I think they've already played since then, but maybe again, sure, maybe. Maybe again. but I think they already played in last week's weeklies. As they are very common when it comes to, or very active players, they're regulars. Here we go. Here we go. As we're getting into our fresh series, and I have confirmation, Apple Juice is playing random this time. Okay. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the random player. We have the random player himself landing on Terran, by the way. It is Apple Juice. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, the Danish Protoss representing Samsung Gaming. It is MaxPax. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our PVT. Let's go. Let us go. We're getting to our mirror matchup. Sorry, I say mirror match. We're getting into our PVT, a PV random, and we're opening up Proxy 2 racks. Let's go, baby, let's go. We have 2 ranks being sent, 2 SCVs being sent out across the map. The ranks are going to get up and running. And remember, MaxPax doesn't know what race he's playing against. It could be Zerg, it could be Protoss, it could be Terran. MaxPax has no idea. He's going for the high ground setup. The probe does move out across the map, and we should be seeing Reapers amassing for the Terran. Now, thankfully, because of the Probe Scout MaxPax, he will know that the Rax is missing. Technically, it could be further back in the main base. It could be here at the natural. It could be at the third base location as well. So MaxPax has to confirm. He's going in, checking gases. And back at home, does he send out another worker? He does. So Gate, Cyber, Zelt's on the way. You can see MaxPax, he's scouting here at the third location. Checking on the right before checking over towards the left. Ooh, we're going Proxy Marauder, not Proxy Reaper. Which means this does hit later, which means MaxPax has more time to react. As the probe does move in. And the probe will see everything. Does scout both Raxes, does scout both Tech Labs. So MaxPax, he's aware. As Marauder is revealed, we have the Stargate to defend. We often see a lot of robot defenses against this, but we're going for the Stargates. With this, we can go Void Ray. Marauders, of course, do not shoot up. And we have a second pylon as well. 2 pylons, 2 shield batteries. The first shield battery is almost done. So just buying time, kiting back. Shield battery is now finishing, and with that, MaxPax will hold. So far, clean defense here to MaxPax. He's holding the ramp, just biding time here for his Stargate. Apple Juice, so we're gonna go for the CC. Ah, this out across the map. Oh god. Nice work in Micro, but he'll lose 1. Oh, 1, 2 SCVs go down. Mining is disrupted. And Apple Juice, does he want to expand? It looks like he does. Oh, never mind. Okay, there we go. There's a natural base. The CCs, sorry, the Raxes are floating back home. But I think the game might just end. Unfortunately, I don't know if you noticed something, but what do we have to work with? We have 4 Marauders. Remember, it's a Void Ray response. It's a Stargate response. Literally, nothing shoots up, and there is 0 production because the Raxes are in the air. Like, there is no way. Yeah, GG. GG gets called. As I mentioned, there is no answer to the Void Ray. Nothing shoots up, 0 production, and MaxPax will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Again, MaxPax going for the harder counter there. Because you're going Proxy Marauder, you have 0 anti-air. The best chance for Apple Juice is if he was blindly going for a factory back at home instead of the CC, and with that he'll have access to cyclones. That'd be the one chance that he would have to actually have some anti-air and actually have an answer to the Void Ray. But he went CC, he did not go for the factory. GG. GG, well played. And with that, MaxPax does take a lead, and now we're getting to game number 2. Here we go. Game 2 is going to be on Tourmaline. They played yesterday, I think. Oh, there you go. There you go. We might be covering those matches maybe next week. Maybe next week. We do have a bit of a backlog of what is to be Mondays to cover. But here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the green player, the green random player, this time landing on Zerg. Let's go. Down in the series, we'll see if you can bounce back. It is Apple Juice. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sasson Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is MaxPax. No fear, going for the low ground pylon. Okay, let's go. Dust it up on the low ground here, is going for a greedier build and a greedier start, and Apple Juice back at home is going for what looks to be 15 hatch. Yeah, 15 hatch. So standard opener here. It's going to be opening up what looks to be hatch gas pool. So we're seeing a little bit of everything here from Apple Juice. We saw Protoss, of course, in the previous series. We saw Terran in game 1, and now we're seeing Zerg here in game number 2. And we'll see what he can get into. Now we're opening up. We do have again our hatch gas pool. The Probe Scout does confirm the opener, does confirm the build, and MaxPax should be feeling very safe just setting up here on the low ground. It was a bit of a gamble, but the gamble does pay off. And MaxPax can get comfortable as we get in towards the mid game. Pile in the main for the initial Stargate. We'll keep an eye on the gases here for Apple Juice. We'll see if he does stay in and does go for something more quirky. Obviously, Apple Juice is the underdog coming into this series, so he's going to have to bring something different, something fancy to the table here to bring down MaxPax. Let's go. I want to believe he has something in store. Bearing in mind, we're also loading into Tourmaline. I mentioned earlier that there are certain maps in the map pool that do favor aggression. Tourmaline is one of them. I do heavily favor 2-3 base all-ins. 3 base all-ins specifically here in ZVP can hit very strong and very hard. The third base can be very difficult to defend. It is so open here at the third base location. It's also very open here at the natural location as well. So very wide open choke points or just very wide open entrances does allow for greater concaves and greater aggression to actually excel. But you can see here, pulls out of gas. For now, we're pulling out of gas, getting link speed, droning up for the most part. We have 8 links on the way, so an extra pair of links instead of 6. Eyes are on Apple Juice. So far, it's keeping up. He's holding him to Larva. Yeah, now we see why he's holding him to Larva for what? For a Link Flood. So it is an all-in. It is going to be an all-in here. Massive Link Flood here by Apple Juice. Now, what's important is that Shade saw the Larva banking, right? Like, seeing all the Larva just being idle like that is a tell. But MaxPax, does he just believe that Apple Juice was supply blocked or something like that? Does he just believe that Apple Juice is being inefficient? I mean, it should be in the back of his mind. As things, they collapse in. And they're going for the third. Yeah, going for the third base. Oracle does turn back around. And can the Oracle protect the third? Only one? Oh, only one Oracle. The second one should be popping out soon, but last never was made. And that means that this may just be cancelled. It will. Oof. Does force cancel, but there's a reason why this was cancelled, and I'm curious if Apple Juice is able to catch on to that. Something's wrong. There should have been a second Oracle. There wasn't. Why? Twilight Council. Twilight Council, Gateway Explosion, looks like 4 Gate Blink. 4 Gate Blink Stalker out of MaxPax. I just should recognize that there should be more than one Oracle. Actually, my apologies. I assumed 4-gate Blink. 4-gate Glaives. It's 4-gate Blink. Okay. Still hyper aggressive, but in a different way. Apple just behind this, starting to drone up, trying to. Of course, the workers are late. And here comes MaxPax. Remember, Blink is halfway done. MaxPax still having only one Oracle is going to weaken this push. Typically, when you go into Mass Stalker like this, you do want that Oracle support, just because Lings are the counter to the Stalker. So having 2 or 3 Oracles can support this very, very nicely, but it's just going to be one. We'll see what MaxPax can get done. So let's move in. It's Revelation. Roach Warren's finishing up. We have +1 range on the way. So far, only 2 Lings. Yeah, there's no Lings ready for this. Stalkers, they can maintain their position. They shouldn't kill any Queens, but they will get the Lings. Yeah, Lings are trickling in. Roach production has begun. The Queens, they're under fire. They're under threat. There's what, 1 transfuse left. Ooh. There's 1 more transfuse. Down to 0. Queens are going to be going down, and it's just too much. There's too much damage here. Again, 0 Lings to defend. Queens are falling. We're down to 2. 2 Queens left. Down to 2. Down to 0. Sorry, down to 1. And it's going to be down to 0. There we go. The final Queen has fallen. 0 Queens left. GG gets called, and MaxPax will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations, congratulations to MaxPax for claiming the series. He was coming in as a favorite player, but a shout out to Apple Juice for holding his own, for having some cheeky builds as well. Also, Apple just messaged me. He said he wanted to Bane bust, but he forgot gas. It happens to the best of us, Fabi. That makes more sense for him to go for a Bane bust instead of just a Link Flood. The Link Flood could only ever achieve canceling the expansion. So it looks like he wanted to actually commit to a stronger all-in, but yeah, did forget his gases. GG. GG, well played. It happens. It happens. But with that, regardless, congratulations to MaxPax, who will advance on, and let's catch up in that bracket. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed. As we do see some updates here. Clem does take down Hackers top 2-0. Clem waiting for the winner of Percival and Shameless. Meanwhile, we have Solar waiting for the winner of Cure and Nice. So we have some updates here. MaxPax, of course, waiting for the winner of ByuN and Epic. ByuN and Epic, they're still mid-series. They're currently 8 minutes into their game. Okay. Looks like Dave and Bomyoja are covering Creator. Creator is playing against Niggurax. That makes sense. It's going to be a really spicy match. So it looks like they're covering that series. Steadfast is wrapping up a game. Well, Rocklets is also a Niggurax series. I'm not certain where Steadfast is, but when it comes to other coverage, it's ourselves, Bomyoja, Dave Testa, Steadfast. Oh, Steadfast wasn't casting. That's he does this. So Steadfast, he's not actually casting this. He's laddering. Okay, that makes sense. God damn it. But he often just avoids casting the early rounds, and I think he usually just comes in for like the semis and stuff. SMH, papi, SMH. So that's what I was speaking about it, yeah. Oh, thanks, Drago Blue, for letting us know that apparently Pig is visiting family for a few days, so he's not streaming. It's all good, it's all good. Este chanchito. I'm sure he'll be catching up on some of these games via replays at a later date. We always provide replays to Pig whenever we can. So I'm sure he'll be on it. Sure he will. Otherwise, we have some downtime. We do have some downtime here, so I can clean some stuff up and get things ready. So we are going to be going on a short break. Here. When we come back, we are waiting for ByuN and Epic to wrap up. They're currently 8 minutes into their game, so we're just waiting for them to wrap up. And once they do, then we're going to be following the winner into MaxPax. Most likely, we're going to be staying on the lower half of the bracket. That's typically how we operate here. Is that we try to focus and follow certain players to their conclusion and kind of stay there. We don't really hop around and like jump into like a solo match or like a Clem match or anything like that. Like now, we began here in the lower bracket, we will end in the lower bracket. So that's the plan. So for now, we're going to be going on a short break. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and hydrate all of your hydras. We will be back soon with our next series. See you then. See you then, Pappy. See you then. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew, I hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OC as a return. We have returned with a round of 16, and surprisingly, we are mid-series. I assumed that we were going to be jumping right into the quarterfinals match, but no, we are mid-series. We're tied up 1-1. We're jumping into the ace match and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Winter Madness. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Teal Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the American Terran, the blue Terran player representing Sison Gaming. It is Epic. Here we go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our TVT. Let's go. Let us go. And again, we are mid-series here. This is going to be the final game of the matchup, and we'll see how this story does end here. So far, double gas out of Epic, going for a faster factory. Meanwhile, single gas out of ByuN, going for a faster CC. More of an economic start out of our Teal Terran, more of a tech-heavy start, and more safer start out of our blue Terran player instead. So we already have some major deviations, and we'll see where this leads us. As of course, welcome to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is one of the larger maps of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground. As a result, we often do see longer and later games on Winter Madness. There's a higher chance we can embrace a 3-base economy here. We'll keep an eye on our players as ByuN goes for the early SCV scout. This is odd. You do not often SCV scout in TVT, so the fact that ByuN is checking tells me that it looks like maybe earlier in the series there was some cheats. That there was some aggression, there was some proxies, as ByuN confirms that the Rax is back at home and confirms the factory is on the way. So ByuN sees everything he needs to. He is fully aware. But again, the fact that there was an SCV scout to begin with is a little bit telling as to what has occurred in this series. Here we go. As ByuN does pull back. From here, we're building up. Building up back. And we'll see if Epic does decide to go into anything more committed here. He's going to be opening up with his first Reaper to scout across the map. So there's 2 Reapers, he can be active. Got himself setting up with his bunker. Remember, ByuN did go for the more economic build, so he's being more defensive. And he's ready to receive. He's ready here at the Reaper Cliff. Speaking of, Epic shows up, and ByuN shoots first. And all the Reapers that do break through, they break through into the main. They confirm the starport in production. But it's going to be a one-way trip here. Does trade with the Reaper, okay. Does trade 1-to-1. Epic tries, but cannot pull out. But again, at least he's aware of what he's up against. He's like, oh, okay, went for something more economic. Now we can build up. Now from here, we keep an eye on any additional starport play on the tech labs themselves, whether they're going to tank play. Mech is going to be viable, especially on Winter Madness. True. We can try to slow the game down. We can see ByuN going for the early Cyclones just to be safer. Meanwhile, we have Hyperflight Rotors on the way for Epic. Okay, let's go. Going into Speed Banshees. Now, there's a very high chance that this does lead into Mech, actually. Speed Banshees very commonly does coincide with extra factories, so we'll keep an eye on Epic. We'll see if he does commit. Meanwhile, ByuN back at home just going to his own Raven production, a little bit more standard. When it comes to a head-on engage. Ravens are still more safety Cyclones. As first Banshee does move out. Currently we're still just focusing on ourselves. ByuN splitting up, we're going for a very fast third TC, so building up into a longer game. We did assume this would happen just because, again, we mentioned how this map is very large, it's very defensive. So ByuN going for a third TC before any other production building. So a very economic play here by ByuN. Instead of Epic, still waiting to see extra production or command center. First Banshee moves out. There's a scan into the main base. Ravens are in position. And does come with the CC, okay. Epic does about the command center. He's getting his own CC on location. Pokes in, nice control, picks up a Marine. Has to be so careful, and is going into ByuN. Okay, so Stim is on the way. We have ByuN out of Epic. He is pushing across the map. The goal here should just be to contain. It shouldn't be to break the natural, it should be just to contain on 2 bases. Once again, snipes another building SCV. Nice moves here by Epic. Getting 3, 4. Getting up to almost 5 SCVs. Oh no! Oh, he can't get away! Not enough dead space. Brutal lock-ons here, and both Banshees go down. Ay, ay, ay. There's just not enough space behind the main. But the tanks do get in position. Ah, but they're Ravens. Yeah, the problem here is that the Ravens are in position. They have energy. Does force the unsiege. Tanks, they have to get out of here. And one tank is going to go down. Ay, ay, ay. He gets one. No, he gets a look on the other. Both tanks go down, and Epic is overextended. Epic overextends. The Banshees were amazing, but here the follow-up is lackluster. He will lose everything here on the retreat. Again, the Cyclones were brutal, punishing everything. And now ByuN has momentum. ByuN can just keep pushing. ByuN commits. Epic, he's got 1 tank back at home. Okay, here comes the second. And ByuN, he doesn't have to break the third. Behind this, double eBay is on the way. Stim is almost done. ByuN, he can siege up within range of the CC, out of range of the tanks. He has more Vikings as well. Oof. Oh. Yeah, ByuN overextends. That should not have happened. 1 Cyclone goes down. But he's nice at 3rd CC. Ay, ay, ay. Again, things are going so well for Epic. Epic rotating over towards the right hand side, getting another expansion. Gets a volley off. Let's get a volley off. ByuN army stims in. Once again, mining is denied, and that's the win condition here. ByuN just denying the 3rd base time and time again, landing his own on location. As he shouldn't get a kill here. Yeah, the CC does survive. But again, Epic, he's just contained. He's just contained. Epic just cannot expand. ByuN, he once again rotates over just in case the CC is heading in this direction. Scans looking for the army. Epic goes back. Does pivot back around. Scan reveals the CC. ByuN is on the way. ByuN is the first to siege. Oh, and boys being pulled. Yeah, the boys being pulled. Still a brutal trade. ByuN will lose 1 tank. But here come the reinforcements. ByuN is still rallying. He wants that low ground expansion. Oh, Epic stims in. Does try to just try to punish the unsiege, but unable to. Oof, losing a tank. Has to be careful. He boosts over. Gonna be the first reposition. Getting within range of the mineral line. And it looks like he will get the last tank. Oh, can he get it? Not quite. Epic, can he hold? Can he clean this up? Looks like he can. Epic, he stims in. He will get all 4 tanks. Epic does clean up, does hold on. Again, ByuN overextended. He miscalculated diving on that tank. It was not worth it. And on the one hand, ByuN does take a bad fight, that is true. On the other hand, Epic is still down heavily in the economy. ByuN's already getting a 4th CC, it's almost done. So the longer this goes on, the better it is for ByuN. When it comes to the main army, Epic, he does have a comparable army to work with. He's going for the dream drop. It's one of the options he has. One of the only options. As he needs to leverage that larger army. Back at home, no turrets in position, no sensor tower. ByuN, he's vulnerable.
Somebody, get me out of this mess.
And ByuN scans, he misses the drop. Army comes in. Tanks are sieging, and it looks like, can he siege up in time? Nah, he cannot. Yeah, he cannot. Epic, he will lose everything. He trades decently well, but he will lose every single tank. 3 tanks go down, the Marines as well. And that was Epic's army. Ay, ay, ay. There was potential with the Doom drop, but ByuN, he was able to react in time. He was able to read the game state in time as well. That's why he scanned looking for the drop. And Epic is desperate. Epic is very desperate for damage. Planetary's done. As he cancels on the 4th. Epic, he's looking for damage. He will not find the turret or the tower. Yeah, and ByuN is just nobly out of control. Epic does have actually better upgrades. He does have 2-2, but the reality is here that Epic, he's down in tanks, down in army, down in economy. He's got 1 tank here to defend the 3rd. And ByuN sieges. GG, well played, gets called. ByuN, he will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. ByuN, he will claim the series. Very impressive here. Epic, he did have a better start initially, but Epic did overextend. He lost his tanks across the map. I'm referring to the moments when Epic, he was popping off with his Banshee. His Banshee was doing so much damage, and then his main army sieged up outside of the natural, and he got shot down by the Cyclones of ByuN. The lock-ons were brutal. Epic could not escape, and he lost all of his tanks, and as a result, he lost control of his 3rd. He lost control of his 3rd base for an extended period of time, as he couldn't really hold on. He didn't really have a standing army to compete against ByuN. And that was game. That was game then and there. GG, well played. The one chance that Epic had was the Doom drop, for sure. The Doom drop was the one chance he had, but alas, the Doom drop was caught out. ByuN did read it ahead of time. He didn't intercept, but he was able to react and stim on forward and deal with those tanks. GG. GG, well played. ByuN will take it. And now we're getting ready for our quarterfinals match. Up next is going to be ByuN versus MaxPax in a best-of-3 PvT. Let's go. Let us go. Exclamation mark. Be in the chat. Have a look at the back yourselves. Again, just to catch up on all the matches here. It looks like we have a full set of quarterfinals. Let's go. Clem takes down Hacker's Top. Percival takes down Shameless. We have Clem versus Percival in the quarterfinals. Scrolling down, we have Solar. Solar's up against Cure in a TVZ. We have herO versus Creator in a PvP, and we of course have MaxPax versus ByuN in a PvT as well. Looks like all the favorites did make it through. I would still say that Percival versus Shameless would have been the closest matchup here in the round of 16, but actually technically it was ByuN and Epic. They went all the way to the ace match, the only series to go to the ace match. So again, congratulations to ByuN, and now we are focusing on the quarterfinals. We're going to be covering MaxPax versus ByuN, and that's going to lead into the winner of herO and Creator. I believe herO and Creator have already begun their series. It should also be a shorter series as well, so we should be able to just go from one series, bam, straight into the other, from quarterfinals to semis. That is the plan. Let's go. Don't think anyone's going to cover Clem versus Percival Sag. I think ByuN and Dave are in the same series. Looks like Steadfast is covering Solar and Cure. Wait, are they all covering Solar versus Cure? Hold on. Bully's casting Solar versus Cure. Dave was on Creator. Nickrat. Dave should be on herO. He should be following Creator into herO. Should be. But unless one of the other language streams like Rocklets or Enki. ¿A dónde está mi Rocklets? Rockless is all Jesus. Almost everyone is in Solar versus Cure. Understandably so. Like Solar, he's the only Zerg player. Like it's understandable for sure. But that's the only reason why I didn't jump onto the Solar series, or I didn't jump into the Solar portion of the bracket, because I know that the other casters would most likely cover that. So even though personally I would enjoy covering Solar versus Cure, I also understand that it's better to, you know, to fan out and to cast as much as we can, to cover as much ground as we can when it comes to these brackets, instead of just clumping up on like the popular players. It's a popular match. Yeah. I mean, understandably so. Like, but I guess for now we're going to be going on a short break. Yep, going to be going on a short break here. Looks like Vitas are underway for MaxPax and ByuN, and when we come back, we'll have our series. We'll have our best of 3. See you soon. See you soon after the break. See you soon. Bye. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the quarterfinals of the PiGosaur Cup number 59. We are here. We have returned with a fresh series with a PVT, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the teal Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our PVT. Coming into this, MaxPax is the favorite player, but ByuN is one of the few Terrans out there that can bring it to MaxPax. I would not be surprised if it goes to the ace match, and this can go either way. I do lean slightly towards MaxPax, but I also understand that ByuN has brought him down before, and he can do it again. But here we go. We're loading into our first game. We're loading into 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. That is true. I was mentioning the maps earlier here, but when I think of the aggressive maps currently, I think of Ruby Rock, I think of Tourmaline, and I think of 10,000 feet as well. The rush distance by ground isn't too short, but it's really more about the exposed bases, the exposed 4th, the exposed 5th, the exposed 6th expansion, as ByuN does go for the eBay block here, but MaxPax is quick to react, quick to respond, and MaxPax should force a cancel. So MaxPax already in position, ByuN didn't try to hide his SCV, and this shouldn't really delay for too much longer. Again, if this went unscouted, then MaxPax would be forced to expand at the 3rd base location. He'd be more vulnerable, more exposed to something like an all-in, to something more aggressive, but that wouldn't happen here. There's a cancellation, and MaxPax does take the natural without too much issue. There was some denied mining, but not by too much. We see ByuN going for the CC on the high ground, going for his own economic start as well, but also delayed just because of the eBay. So a bit of a bumpy start, but all in all here, we're getting to our openers, getting in towards our early game. Let's go. Going to be building up. Now, when it comes to the meta of PvT, if you've been watching ByuN over the past year of play, you'll know that ByuN, he is the least aggressive and the most macro-oriented out of all the Terran players out there, compared to Cure, compared to Bunny, compared to Clem, compared to anyone else. ByuN, he often does play towards the mid to late game. He rarely goes for all-ins. Not saying he never does. He does mix them in every now and then, but it's more uncommon than all the other Terrans. We'll see if ByuN is able to make use of this map and be more assertive. Instead of going for a 2-base all-in, we might see some 3-base aggression, or aggression once he takes his third, or as he takes his third. We'll keep an eye on ByuN. This isn't the worst map to try to turtle up on when it comes to the natural into third into fourth base. It's relatively secure here on 4 bases, and because of the terrain, you can actually take over the center of the map quite quickly and quite easily with a heavier tank count. So we'll see how ByuN approaches this. Oh, that is a Rax before starport. Hello, este ByuN. First things first, we do have a Stargate opener at a MaxPax, not a Twilight Council. This is risky. We speak about this all the time, but Stargate play does leave you vulnerable to all-ins. Like, you are vulnerable to 2-base all-ins. Stargate play is amazing when it comes to longer games because you can shut down drop play, you can shut down Widowmine drops, Banshee openers as well, contain the Terran, and get into Charge or get into Colossus from here. But as you can see, ByuN isn't opening up Banshee, he isn't opening up Widowmine drop, he's opening up second Rax, he's delaying his starport, and this looks like the beginning of a 2-base all-in. The reasoning for this is we have a fast eBay for +1, we're going to be having a faster second Rax, delayed medevac production, faster stim because of that faster second Rax, but the blue stage, sorry, the Phoenix will scout everything. Yeah, it does confirm the second Rax, he knows. So MaxPax, more or less, he's aware of how much danger he's in. Robo's on the way, and we can even get defensive immortals. Meanwhile, ByuN is aware that that's a very real Phoenix, not fake. But ByuN, he has the option to pull the boys. He can pull the boys with this as well. Did mention how ByuN, he is the most macro-oriented out of all the Terrans, and I stand by that, of course. But hey, if you're going to all in, hey, 10,000 feet, Tourmaline, Ruby Rock, I mean, this is the place to do it on. And as you can see, that's a third Rax. So we're delaying the starport even further to the point where we might not even get a starport this game. This +1 is on the way. Stim, likewise, almost halfway done. And MaxPax is going Phoenix Colossus. Okay, so again, because MaxPax knows how much danger he's in, he's getting safety immortals, right? If he was unaware, there wouldn't be immortal production here. So he's getting safety immortals, he's being as safe as he can be, massing up an army, but it's still not going to be easy because he is vulnerable until the Colossus pops out. It's going to take a while. Phoenix backstab, they get 1 SCV. 1 SCV so far. Oh, calm down, ByuN. Now we get the delayed starport. Stim is almost complete. And ByuN is pushing. Oh, does catch a Phoenix. Gets 2. 1, 2 Phoenixes go down. Very nice damage. ByuN is pushing. He's trying to catch the Phoenixes. You see MaxPax in position. The first Colossus is halfway done. And ByuN, he barely doesn't get a third Phoenix. He's still trying to hunt them down. Oh. So we have combat shields on the way. And Shell as well. The first Colossus has arrived. MaxPax, he should hold on. ByuN is pushing. I mean, there's not really much support for the Colossus, true. The Colossus can always kite away, but does ByuN have enough to break this position? Remember, he has Stim. Does what the Colossus. Stim's in. Does try to Stim. Doesn't get much, though. He gets 1 Zealot. And he cannot break this. Yeah, ByuN, he cannot break this. He turns around. Phoenixes that came with the production. Tanks are left on their own, by the way. Jesus. Okay. Turns around for them. And the game will continue. Yeah. So the stim timing has failed. The early stim timing has failed. Now we're going for the third CC on location. ByuN was trying to be hyper aggressive, but I think he was assuming it was going to be a charge follow-up, not Colossus. But I mean, one Colossus is enough to shut down this early bio push. And MaxPax, he holds, he defends. We see ByuN is still being active. I mean, he has to be. So going for a split push, double jump into the main army towards the third. Phoenix as they delay the CC. And MaxPax, he warps in time. Oh no, he warps in, he doesn't kill the medevac. Remember, there's no blink. Scan reveals Colossus still in position. And MaxPax defends. MaxPax does defend. Bleeds out a couple of gateway units, but nothing major. Oh, going for the Cybercore, okay. Cybercore sniped. Their base is finishing up. And this isn't the cleanest early game getting in towards 3-base saturation, but ByuN, he's getting there. He's stumbling his way there, getting his third base up. Ghost Academy is done. The Phoenixes haven't gotten too much damage over the course of this game. So far, getting 6 SCVs in total. I mean, that's acceptable losses. Oh, does catch one Phoenix, does catch 2. Better movement here by ByuN. And MaxPax called out of position, down to 1 Phoenix. This just means less map control, less ability to deal with these drops. A weakened ability to harass, to scout. What's terrifying though is the main core army has been building up. Charge is done. We have 3 Colossus. Storm is on the way to supplement the army. MaxPax has built up a terrifying death ball. They get spotted. ByuN has to respect it. How many tanks? 2. 2 tanks on the high ground. Drop into the main base. Very nice drop. Probes are going down. MaxPax out of position. Late to react, late to respond. But he's rotating over. I believe with range he can hit the mineral line. Yeah, he can. He will threaten that mineral line. Nice EMP. Very nice EMP. The Prism gets thrown away. Archons as well. Yeah, very rough engagement here from MaxPax. He loses far too much. That EMP was brutal. And ByuN can chase. Yeah, ByuN he will chase. MaxPax overextends. And MaxPax should lose everything. Should lose everything here. 1, 2, or 3 Colossus. Oh no, keep chasing. Keep going, Pappy. Keep going. There we go. Gets the final Colossus as well. GG gets called. And ByuN takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Whew, as ByuN does take a lead in the series. Again, MaxPax, he did overextend. He was inattentive when it came to his army. He had a really rough engagement when he moved his Prism into the army, when he moved his army into the EMP, when his Colossus was lagging behind. It was just a really, just a really fumbled assault there from MaxPax, when all he needed to do was deny mining. All he had to do was deny mining at the mineral line, stay on hold position, not move in. But again, MaxPax, he was inattentive. He was punished. GG. GG, well played. With that, ByuN takes the lead, and now we're getting to game number 2. Want to see how to stop Marine push with the Stargate opening? So when you open up Stargate, your follow-up is one of 2 paths. It's either going into charge lots or going into Colossus, right? One of 2. So of course this game he went into Colossus production. It is important that he did go Immortal first, just so he had any kind of support and buffer for the army. That's what's important. And of course buying time with the Phoenixes. But you can go for a similar defense with charge instead. You have options. Do have options, but here we go. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of White Rabbit, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Slashstorm Gaming. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Teal Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. Here we go. And big shout out to Dave Test in the chat. God, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great cast. I hope everything's okay. I know that Dave, I believe Dave was casting Clem, right? I think you were casting Clem versus Percival. I think you were the only one in Clem versus Percival as well. So I hope the series went well, and I hope everything's okay. Again, shout out to Dave. Dave, of course, is also a regular community caster, covering events like PiGosaur Cup. Also, one of the big minds behind the KSL. Without Dave Tesla, the Korean StarCraft League would not be possible, would not be a thing. So much love to Dave. Does a lot for the scene, and has, of course, recently been covering the OSC Masters Cup as well, which I believe Dave also did sponsor. I believe he's also funding that. That's also been running for the past month, I want to say, around a month. So big shout out to Dave. Este Dave. Take care, Patty. Take care. But here we go. Here we go. Got game to only smirch. Ah, no. Oh, no. Not like this. For now, Double Gas open out of ByuN, going for a faster factory, going for a delayed TC, so more of a tech-heavy start this time. As a reminder, last game, ByuN did open up racks into eBay block, into CC on the low ground. This time, faster tech, faster factory. This can lead into faster starboard play as well. So very different kind of starts. Meanwhile, back at home, MaxPax going for a standard opener. Welcome to White Rabbit. White Rabbit is one of the larger maps in the map pool, so we go from one of the more aggressive maps in 10,000 feet into one of the more macro maps in White Rabbit. Very large map. What I will say, even though the map is large, and I would say the bases themselves are relatively defendable, but they're very spread out. The area you have to traverse between your triangular third base and your linear third base is actually quite long. It's very, very long. At the same time, as the aggressing player, it's also awkward to rotate because of these rocks. There are rocks here in between the bases that do make it awkward to go back and forth between fourth and third. So I'll be honest, I haven't really seen enough games on White Rabbit to really cement my opinion. Personally, I do think that this does favor more defensive turtley play, but at the same time, I also recognize that we haven't seen too many games on White Rabbit yet. We have seen some players expand forward, take this forward base as a third, then expand behind them, take this base as a fourth base, and then the base on the right hand side as a fifth, as a more centralized kind of like 5-base setup. We have seen that, where they knock down these rocks and they keep their army here in between their 5 bases. But here we go. For now, once again, do you see what I see? Second racks before starport. Just like last game, I mean, different opener, but the end goal here is the same. Going for a delayed starport, second and third racks. Once again, we're going for a very early ByuN stim timing. Really early stim timing here. Now, this time, MaxPax is going for a standard build. No Stargate play. Twilight Council into Blink, going for a very Blink Stalker heavy composition. This time MaxPax should have a more robust standing army. Last game, once he lost his Phoenixes, he just had very little to support his Colossus. His ground army was very small, was very lackluster. That will be different coming into this game though. And we'll see how many gateways he gets up to. So far we have 2 gateways here at the natural, we have 1 gateway in the main, so 3 gate Blink out of MaxPax. 3-gate Blink, Prism is out, and MaxPax is pushing. Now, currently, MaxPax, he has very limited vision, very limited scouting. But with this aggression, it should also give him some information as to what's going on. ByuN not going to stim, rushing into combat shields first. Dolan, is that you? he's going for the Dolan build. Okay. Early combat shields timing instead. Basically, the purpose of this build is that your main DPS, your main bulk of damage is coming from not the Marines, from the tanks. And what's the purpose of the Marines? To buffer. They're a meat shield, which is why we're getting shields, right? We're getting a shield upgrade, not the DPS upgrade. It's all about just preserving those tanks, keeping them alive. The boys are being pulled, and ByuN, he commits. He commits across the map. MaxPax is in position to delay. Pays off a Marine, but again, the army will not be stopped. The Prism, no! It does break the lock-on. Yeah, lock-on is broken. The boys are here to repair. And MaxPax, he's in danger. He's in trouble. He does pull away. Oh. As he does try to blink past. Setting up the potential surround. But ByuN is made to the high ground. He has arrived. Tanks are sieging up. And Stalkers, they catch reinforcements. There we go, 2 Marines going down. Oh, sorry, 1. 1 Marine gets picked up. Gateways are falling. The Immortal has arrived. Okay, more shield barriers on the way. Sorry, just the 1. He blinks in. He gets 1. Yeah, 1 tank goes down. He gets 1. He gets both tanks. And with that, there is 0 tanks left. The Cyclone falls as well. And ByuN, he's running out of steam here. But he does reinforce. The bunkers are finishing. Another tank has barely arrived in time. ByuN, can he keep going? Can he keep this going? Oh my god. Takes down another gateway. Stalkers, they blink down. They blink to the low ground. Reaper peels off into the mineral line. There's 3 bunkers complete this time. The tank is secure. Ah, but he cannot depower the robo. That would have been huge. That could have been game. But again, MaxPax is up against the wall. Warpin's behind the army. And this rover is going to get sniped, but only after the immortals popped out. There's already 2 immortals. There's 2 immortals left. ByuN has to pull away with his reinforcements, as now there are zealots behind this. I believe charge is done. And we'll see if MaxPax can surround this army. We'll see if he can collapse in. With zealots, it is going to be easier. Oh, he recalls to the right-hand side. Okay. Recalls to the right, so this tank is exposed. So this first tank should go down without an issue. The second tank is a little bit more protected. And here he comes. Okay, here comes the army from behind. First tank goes down instantly. Diving on the second, both tanks full. And now it's just bunkers, and just bunkers remain. ByuN, he was just unaware of the recall, he was unaware of the backstab, and ByuN, he will lose everything. Yeah, all the bunkers go down, and MaxPax, he will hold. And what's important, MaxPax, he saved the third. The third base is up and running, like it's safe and sound. MaxPax, he has more bases, he has a better economy, and ByuN was all in. ByuN, he was all in, he still is all in. Oh, MaxPax has to be careful. Pokes off the ramp. We'll lose 2 stalkers. 2 stalkers go down. He does face check. Checks with his face. Gets punished. As I'll say, 2 drop into the main. Getting 4 SCVs. At the same time, ByuN, he pulls extra boys. ByuN, he'll defend with a bare minimum. He defends, he zones away. The prism is getting very low. And does MaxPax have enough back at home? Warping extra stalkers. That's a lot of marines though. We got 3 tanks. Can he break through the zealots? There are just so many. Yeah, so many zealots here. They buff off of the immortals. 1 tank goes down. There's 2 tanks left. They do siege. Can he get one of the immortals? He gets 1. Oh my god. Gets 1 immortal. I believe there's no other robo, right? Yeah, the robo was not rebuilt. Was not rebuilt. What you see is what you get. 1 immortal remaining on half HP. ByuN, he can still do this if he can lure the army into tank range. Oh god, that's a lot of zealots. Yeah, zealots are coming from behind. GG gets called. MaxPax, he cleans up the army, and MaxPax will tie things up 1-1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. A very explosive all in here by ByuN, but there was a big moment here for MaxPax when he recalled. If you remember, when he recalled to the third base location and he surrounded the army, he was able to get zealots from behind and immortals from the flank. He was able to get on top of the tanks. The tanks were exposed just because ByuN had them in position for a frontal assault, didn't have them in position to defend from behind or from the flank instead. So ByuN, he was caught out of position, he lost the tanks, and his position was broken. That was GG. That was GG then and there. We did see ByuN punish MaxPax and catch an immortal and catch some stalkers in the center. There were some really nice moments after that, but again, ByuN was running out of steam. He failed to kill the third base, so as time went on, MaxPax had an economy. ByuN did not. GG. GG, well played. We're going to the ace match. Do pros like to avoid late game in weeklies? No. Maybe for weeklies, they prefer to not have 30-minute long games. If you don't watch a lot of StarCraft, you might not be familiar, but we do cover a lot of late game. Typically here in weekly tournaments, I do recommend watching especially ByuN in online cups as well. Recency bias is a thing, so if you've only been watching today's games, you might come away with the opinion that there are only all-ins or only short games, but this is not indicative of the greater scene of what we typically expect, but maybe it is indicative of what is to come. What I will say is that coming into this series, MaxPax is favored for sure, so ByuN feels pressured to be hyper aggressive. He's been feeling pressured, but we'll see if this becomes a trend. We'll see if this becomes a trend when it comes to playing against other Protoss players as well. Let's go. For now, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Psystorm Gaming. As he was able to tie up the series 1-1, it is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the teal Terran player, the South Korean Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. But I do recommend watching the last like 2 weeks of play for StarCraft. We've been casting a lot of late game, from Clem, from ByuN, from Percival, from Cure as well. Over the past month of play, we've been seeing a lot of late game in TVP, especially on maps like Celestial Enclave, on maps even if you watch like Maru series from RSL, Maru versus herO in the upper brackets, on maps like Celestial Enclave, maps like White Rabbit, maps like what's the other that comes to mind, Winter Madness as well. True. As ByuN is going Rax Expand. But again, based on ByuN's tendencies, I would say that this more aggressive series that we've been seeing here is more just because of the opponent he's up against, just because he's up against MaxPax. It does feel like ByuN is pressured to try to end the game early, or feels a pressure to end the game early. And I will say that both games so far, we have seen some varying builds. But welcome to Title Citadel. Title Citadel is similar to White Rabbit. It is a very large map, but I would say this is a little bit more extreme when it comes to the placement of the bases. Your natural is secure, but your third and fourth base are very spread out. And we have seen a lot of players struggle to defend their third and fourth bases here in the longer mid game, just because you spread yourself so thin between these locations. So we'll see what ByuN goes for the first time this series, 1-1-1. Okay, you have my attention. Remember, winding it back here, when it comes to how ByuN has been playing this series so far, both Game 1 and Game 2, ByuN went for a second and third racks before Starport. This is the first time we're seeing a Starport before any extra raxes. This so far is looking a lot more standard as an opener. Less aggressive. At least when it comes to these stim timings and early bio pushes. Reaper gets surrounded, gets one probe. Back at home, going to be a Twilight Council opener out of MaxPax. It's a TVP thing too. Current meta is more all in on the Terran side. That is not true. Again, if you've been watching StarCraft over the past like month of play, we've been seeing a lot more late game than all ins. So I do recommend watching, say, Maru in RSL, or Clem in the Open Cups, or ByuN in the Open Cups. That was the narrative earlier this year, like around DreamHack Dallas coming into EWC. That is true. So earlier this, like again, like the CVP meta has been shifting a lot this year, but all-ins were a lot more common back then. There we go. ByuN is going to be opening up with the early... Oh. He's going for another early push, by the way. He's setting up for another early push. It looks to be the case as there is no add-on on the second racks. So he's massing up Marines and he's going to be reinforcing with the Liberator as well. And you can see the Liberator is not rallied across the map. He's building up back at home. So eyes are on ByuN. How many gateways? 1, 2... Jeez, 4... Okay. Before ByuN can get aggressive, though, 4-gate blink. 4-gate blink Stalker, hyper aggression out of MaxPax. He's committing. Matter of fact, does get across the map, but MaxPax, he's not going to turn around. Back at home, he has 2 Stalkers, soon to be 5. 5 Stalkers to defend. And so far gets 3 probes at the same time, dives into the Mavis, tanks in position. Nice tank volley. Meanwhile, not all the Stalkers actually got into the main. Despite going 4-gate blink, MaxPax, he was forced to warp in defensively back at home. And this opener here, it's falling on its face. MaxPax, he's forced to expand, taking up into charge. Ideally, you'd have this amount of Stalkers going in with the first blink. But so far, ByuN is holding. So we do gotta drop into the main base. At the same time, ByuN, he sneaks out across the map. ByuN, he has almost nothing to defend. Uh-oh. Base trade? A really awkward base trade here out of ByuN. Stalkers, they go in, they get behind the mineral line. ByuN, it takes so long to get across the map here. It's a big map, Abby. He's going. At the same time, MaxPax doesn't realize. There's nothing here. The door is open. Oh my god, there's literally nothing to defend right now. We got 2 Marauders. We got now 3 Marauders as time goes on. MaxPax doesn't realize. Ah, no. And now he goes in. Yeah, now he realizes, but this is a late reaction by MaxPax. He blinks into the natural. Boys are being pulled. And the base trade commences. Oh, wait, ByuN, are we turning around? Jesus. ByuN, calm down. Bit of an F2 there by ByuN. But now he's pushing in. Again, there's no shield by ready. Shield battery is not on the way. The mortal's almost out. There's the recall. And recall's back home. But the tanks do siege. Yeah, tanks are within range. Not enough zealots. Massive tank voice going up. MaxPax, he gets punished. And MaxPax, he will lose almost everything here. Yeah, nice retargeting with the tanks. No friendly fire. Immortal gets hunted down. The army's heavily overstimmed. Very overstimmed. The boys are being pulled. They can actually fight the Marines. Oh my god. Yeah, the Marines are being cleaned up. The boys do defend. The probes, Fappy. Now the tanks are on their own. Now the tanks are exposed. You can see ByuN trying to rally over. ByuN did overextend into the mineral line. He will lose everything. The tanks are on their own. Yeah, ByuN got too excited. He got too excited, went too far in. And where exactly are we here? Okay, so first things first. MaxPax gets a third. His third base is getting up and running. Storm is on the way. The aggression has subsided. Behind this, we still have that prison behind the mineral line. Oh. And ByuN, he has no third CC. And no third CC here for ByuN. He had potential. If he hadn't overextended, if he had maybe pushed forward with the tanks and reinforced, then maybe he could have gone on top of the robo and kept going. The probes are pretty good, true. And now we expand. Third TC is now on the way. The game will slow down. ByuN is going to attempt to get into the mid game, but in a really awkward position. Behind this, MaxPax, his third base is getting up. Doesn't have a high probe count. He did lose a lot of workers earlier, that is true, but tech-wise, he's there. He has Storm. He has Storm. He has plenty of High Templar. If MaxPax wanted to, he could push out as ByuN tries to expand. So there's going to be a moment here where ByuN is vulnerable when he attempts to take his third base. Until then, we're backing up. Backing off, we're building up. Delve too deeply, too greedily. See, Patty, see. Prison does get sniped. No. Storm's going to be coming in. How many High Templar do we have? 5. Okay, 5 Templar here with the main army. With that nice pre-split here out of ByuN. Does pre-split. His third base leading up behind this. ByuN does distract. And ByuN should be able to expand. It is so crucial here that ByuN just keeps the army at bay. It keeps MaxPax at bay. Here comes the third. MaxPax, yes, be careful. Here, does zone. Doesn't have enough zealots here to keep pushing. is lacking his gateway army. Just now moving in. Yeah, Prism's going across the map. Oof. Storm zones away. And ByuN, he doesn't really have much at home to actually keep this up. Prism gets into the main base. ByuN is being spread thin. Warpin is going to finish. Yeah, and he cannot defend. Yeah, he cannot defend the third base. He just doesn't have the numbers. ByuN evacuates. Very mature decision. And MaxPax doesn't have to push in. Just contain. EMPs are popping up. Nice EMPs on the Archons. Ooh. Storm does graze the army. And behind this gets a fourth base, right? Like, that's all that MaxPax has to do. Just contain the Terran player for as long as possible. Get a fourth base. Get a fifth. Base on the way, working towards Colossus. Just buying as much time as possible. And still has 3 more storms. Oh god, the storms are brutal. Goes back into the storm. Marauders are going to be going down. More storm zone away. And ByuN just cannot expand. Cannot expand, cannot get a third. It's just not going to happen. Going for another warp in. Oh, this time it's going to be denied. MaxPax still playing with fire, has to be careful. And he doesn't want to overextend. There's no need. There's no need to push in. And he backs up. Thankfully, he does pull away, does back off. ByuN finally expands, but as he gets a third base, MaxPax already on 4. Right, he's already in a 4-base economy. Recalled back home. Pulls away. Robo's on the way, building up into Colossus. So again, coming in towards the mid game, MaxPax is in a better position. Second Robo, double Colossus production. ByuN does have a lot of potential with the Ghost at least, and the EMPs are connecting. Yeah, ByuN, he does have a comparable army. So he's got to make he has to make use of it here and now. So MaxPax going for another backstab. Prism heads towards the natural. ByuN rotating in. Oh, nice EMP. Nice EMP. He has a high ground as well. EMPs do connect. They blanket the entire army. Yeah, MaxPax out of position. Archons will be going down. And there's no storms. Yeah, 0 storms here to defend. ByuN, he can take this fight. He's trying to push in. Oh no, here comes the defensive storm. Oh. And MaxPax holds. MaxPax, he barely holds on. The storm has arrived back at home. Reinforcements are dealing with the Prism. Dealing with the Zealots. Again, ByuN, he almost broke him then and there. MaxPax was on the low ground, out of position, pushing into a concave, into mass EMP. But MaxPax survives. Oh. So Prism is still across the map. ByuN still shocking around. The 4th CC is on the way. I'm sure ByuN is tempted. I'm sure he's very tempted to engage. Again, there's very little support for the Colossus here. At the same time, the Prism has been so annoying. Once again, distracting ByuN. Getting into the main. The recall won't save the Prism. And ByuN can finally focus on his main army. How many ghosts? 8. Sorry, 6. 6 ghosts. How many Vikings? Only 5. Yeah, 5 Vikings, 6 ghosts. The army isn't quite there. Still building up. Meanwhile, MaxPax is securing 4 bases. ByuN going for a split push. Let's go. Does split off. MaxPax, he rotates over towards the left-hand side. Overreaction. He has all 4 Colossus here on the left. The main base 3, the 4th base is exposed. ByuN stims in, and MaxPax out of position. A big misread here from the Protoss. The Nexus should go down. Oh my god, no, barely not. And ByuN doesn't commit. Barely. One more shot, one more volley. Doesn't get the base. I mean, again, that was a better rotation from ByuN, but I didn't get the damage I was hoping for. Now we're up to 5 Colossus. Jeez, that's a lot of lasers, Pappy. Up to 5 Colossus against 5 Vikings. The problem here, the Viking count is so low. We're still making medevacs. Oh, ByuN, we don't need them right now. We need Vikings. There's 5 Colossus. So Wame gets in, distracts ByuN. Again, we have 1 Viking per Colossus. Ay, ay, ay. MaxPax, he pulls away, getting in the center expansion. I was going to say that this center base is going to be difficult to maintain because ByuN had map control, but that isn't the case anymore. ByuN was forced back, and MaxPax expands. As ByuN is getting a 2nd starport, +1 ship weapons is almost done. He's now working on Vikings. Thank God. Viking production now is recommencing. Now, when it comes to the ideal late game Terran composition, ByuN is almost there. So, for those that are curious, going at Marauder, Ghost, Viking, Liberator is kind of like the ideal end game. So, from here, we should be seeing a Fusion Core, into maybe even a 3rd starport, into eventually Liberators, after we have a comfortable Viking count. So, ByuN is maxed out. And once again, MaxPax is not quite in position. His main army is in the center. He responds, he reacts. ByuN shocking around with another force. And MaxPax, how does he split up his army? So far, he does have a couple of High Templar here towards the south side. ByuN collapsing on the Colossus. He sims in. He sims in, and he'll get 1. He'll get 2. Oh my god. Yeah, storms are connecting. Breaks through the Colossus line though. Limited storms. The Colossus are so low, gets 2 Colossus, 3, 4, and all 5. All 5 Colossus will go down. Massive pickoffs. Again, MaxPax will spread thin. A better engagement here by ByuN. And it shows how difficult it is to maintain the center base. Yeah, MaxPax was attacked on both sides, from both flanks. He got surrounded essentially. So difficult to defend. And MaxPax, he has been broken. He's been broken. It takes so long to rebuild those Colossus. You can't afford to lose them. Not like that. And ByuN should be able to run away with this. The pressure's on MaxPax. Pressure is on. He's got 2 High Templar. He's got 2 Templar. He's going to have 1 Colossus. Let's go. But this exemplifies the features of the map that we spoke about at the beginning of the game, how spread out the bases are, right? Specifically on Tidal Citadel, the bases are so spread out, they're so spread thin, where if you're ever caught out of position, it's even more punishing. Right? It's even more punishing when it comes to trying to rotate to defend the base or trying to reinforce a position as well. The 5th base is so difficult to maintain on Tidal, and MaxPax finds out the hard way. Because of that, I was going to favor whoever got into the mid game with map control, and it was ByuN. It was not MaxPax. ByuN, he was able to gain map control. Otherwise, we would have seen the inverse of this, where it would have been ByuN struggling to get a 5th base and struggling to expand, with MaxPax rotating. As MaxPax is rebuilding his Colossus, he's trying to build back up, expanding here on the right hand side, and ByuN is waiting to max out. He's getting there. Behind this, working on +3. So from Roller stimming in. They just tank the storms. Getting one, getting two. Once again, MaxPax's main army is here on the right-hand side, and ByuN, he breaks this. He breaks the base, breaks the Nexus. Another expansion goes down, he moves in, MaxPax, he's just being pulled apart. He pulls over towards the left. By the time he does, the right-hand base is going down as well. Like, MaxPax, he just cannot keep up with his movements. As I mentioned before, specifically on this map, the bases are very spread thin. And MaxPax, he just cannot keep up with the army. Storms are trying to zone away, goes for the recall. The base will get sniped, denies the recall. Ay, ay, ay. The recall is denied, he's trying to base over. GG gets called, and ByuN will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played ByuN. He does take it again. A very intense back and forth here. The map did come into play, as we mentioned. Specifically, I would say the Tidal Citadel is the most difficult map to actually expand and get up to 4 and then 5 bases. It is very, very difficult compared to any other map. You are so spread out. You're so spread apart. The terrain doesn't help you, as you have a lot of terrain to traverse to go from one base to the other to the other. And as I mentioned before, I do favor whoever has map control, and it goes both ways. If the Protoss gain map control early on, then they can give the Terran a hard time expanding. Likewise, Terran can also give the Protoss a hard time expanding if they do actually have that map control, they have that momentum. GG, well played. Whew, ByuN, he will take it, will take the series, and with that he will advance on to those semis. Let's go back, let's go. Just catching up. Catching up, back. Rare footage of Storm actually being a useful zoning tool. Watch more Star Aircraft, back. Watch more Star Aircraft. Oh no. Okay, that was 5 Colossus. Yeah, sorry, winding it back as well, that was the moments that ByuN was able to gain momentum, was when he was able to snipe those 5 Colossus. If you recall, that was when MaxPax attempted to take the center expansion, and when he was flanked, right? He was flanked from both angles. On top of that, MaxPax had most of his High Templar towards the south side. He had, I want to say, 1 or 2 High Templar with his main army, so he had very few Storms to protect his Colossus, and he lost everything. That was the moment where he lost 5 Colossus. That was game then and there. Like, you could never really build back up. GG, well played. Isn't it better to build disruptors now? Yes. Typically, there's a reason why you stop at around 3 Colossus. There are some players that go up to 4, but typically around 3 is when most players do actually stop Colossus production, and then they switch into a heavier Storm and a heavier disruptor count. The reasoning for this is because you don't want to have your opponent just have like the quote-unquote counter too easily, right? Going to a heavy Viking count if you have too many Colossus, going to a heavy Ghost count if you have too many High Templar. So you do want a nice balance of things, and eventually you want to switch out into disruptors, just because disruptors are safe against Vikings and they're safe against EMPs. Of course, the downside is that you have to be heavily reliant on the Novas connecting, but otherwise it can be a really good zoning tool to force splitting and to force the opponent to back off. So typically in the late game, you do want to switch out into more disruptors. Is true. But here we go. With that, we are going to be switching our scenes over here to the bracket. Let's go. Let's catch up on what has been going on, what has been happening. Oh, Okay, so from the top we do have Clem. Clem takes down Percival 2-0, advancing onto the semis. We have Solar taking down Cure 2-0, and we have Clem versus Solar in the upper semifinals. Meanwhile, we have herO taking down Creator, and ByuN of course took down MaxPax. We have ByuN versus herO in the next round. That's going to be our next series. That's going to be our next matchup, and expect a very different dynamic between herO and ByuN compared to MaxPax. MaxPax, he's much more standard in his play. I say that last game was very chaotic. Remember, MaxPax did open up 4-gate blink. He went 4-gate blink, which was hyper aggressive, but he also missed his timing, right? Like, we had a lot of chaos there when it came to the back and forth of ByuN and MaxPax, where MaxPax, he kind of missed his window because of the counter drop across the map, so he was warping in defensively. So MaxPax also had a really shaky start, as he didn't achieve any damage with his 4-gate blink Stalker. But outside of that, he was playing more or less quote-unquote standard. Did play Stargate initially, true. So we had some nice variety. We should be seeing some more variety here as well between herO and ByuN. Also, a quick reminder, this is going to be a best of 5, not a best of 3. So best of 5 match between herO and ByuN. I do need a moment to set things up. Let's go. Here, he's typically a lot more unorthodox in his play, a lot more aggressive. He is difficult to read, and that also makes it difficult to be aggressive against herO, because you can end up in a game state where you're both countering each other or aggressing on each other, and things can get real chaotic real quick. Let's go. We'll see as our players are conducting their vetoes. Vetoes are being conducted. Beautiful. And we'll see you soon. When it comes to Clem versus Solar, I believe that's being casted by Steadfast. I believe Steadfast alongside ByuN are covering those matches. So they have you covered there. Otherwise, we're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have our next series. We'll have our next best of 5. See you soon. Bye. See you soon. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, I hope you enjoyed that lovely broadcast here, and I hope you have enjoyed your time here. Do apologize for the extended break, but our players didn't need some time to get things ready and to dive into our fresh best of 5 semifinals match for the PiGosaur Cup number 59. And here we go. We're jumping in and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our TVP. Let's go. Let us go. Let us jump in. Again, we just wrapped up with ByuN versus MaxPax. It did go in favor of ByuN in a more aggressive series, and I expect the aggression to ramp up here with herO getting involved. herO is also a very chaotic player, much more so than MaxPax, much more so than Classic. That is where herO thrives, is in the mid game with some quirkier builds and some more unorthodox styles at times as well. First things first, double gas open out of ByuN and going for a faster factory. Welcome one and all to Ruby Rock. We did not feature this map in the previous series, but this map is much more aggressive. We have a very open third. You have an open third base, you have an open fourth base, you have this area in between the bases as well. So typically we do see a lot of all-ins be successful on Ruby Rock, more so than on some of the other larger maps. So we'll see how aggressive our players plan on being. Oh boy. Otherwise, I believe Clem versus Solo, the upper semis, is occurring at the same time. I believe that's being casted by ByuN. I believe ByuN, Enki, and Rocklets are covering that series, and I think Steadfast is also in that match as well. So basically all the other casters are covering the upper semis. We have our own series to ourselves. Let's go. Let us go. I believe they did begin first though, so there's a chance that they might wrap up and they might jump in mid-series into game 3, game 4, or game 5. That may occur. For now, we are poking out, and we'll see how our players do open up. Now, I don't really like the idea of opening up Stargate on some of these smaller maps. You can get away with it on larger maps. I would say it's safer to do so on, so we shouldn't really be seeing any kind of that play here from herO, at least not on Ruby Rock. It'd be quite risky. We'll keep an eye on him. He does go for the earlier sentry. So Stalker Sentry opener out of herO. Meanwhile, ByuN does open up Reactor Reaper Hellion. Okay, a much more aggressive start. With this, Reaper Hellion does not scale well into a longer mid game. Doesn't scale well, so the goal here is to wreak havoc early on and to break into a mineral line. To break into the natural, to break into the main base, and to get some early damage done. We'll see if ByuN can pull this off. Meanwhile, we have confirmation, Twilight Council out of herO opening up Blink. Technically, there are some quirky builds where you can go charge or go for like a DT based opener as well, but they're very uncommon, they're very rare, so we expect to see something more standard here, Blink with extra gateways. Meanwhile, here comes Reaper Hellion. As we mentioned before, like the goal here is for ByuN to get into the mineral line. With Reapers, you can KDA charge and you can knock units out of position, but there is a sentry, we do have a wall, and the hallucination spots the army. herO knows. herO knows he's ready. KDA charge is not thrown down. And there's, I believe, a full wall on the high ground. No, there's an opening. Aha, there's an opening. herO did not wall off. Reaper's a bust into the main. Probe's going to be going down. He gets 1, 2, up to 3 probe kills already. Very nice damage here by ByuN. And the Hellion's a bust into the natural. herO having a hard time keeping up. Losing up to 5 probes. Can we get 6? Can we get 7? We get 8. Jesus. They line up here. Probes are lining up here. 8 probes are going down. Thankfully, there is a shield battery on the low ground, and herO will defend, but this is still critical damage. The Reaper Hellion was not meant to get this much done. 8 probes, that is insane. 8 probe kills, almost 9. And again, unfortunately, herO did not fully wall off. Here, there's just this little gap. Small sliver, small opening. I mean, hey, the map pool is still relatively new, so we're still getting used to it. herO is still getting used to it as well. Really, this is the evolution of the herO wall. It's where it's always open, Pappy. It's always open. Not like this. The wall was not a wall. And ByuN follows up with a mine drop. herO, he will pull away in time. Jesus. He pulls away. Nice retargeting here out of ByuN. Gets 2 probes. 2 probes go down, and behind this, ByuN is building up his bio army to go for his 1-1-1, of course, into drop play. Raven's moving out for some more harassment. And ByuN is building up while hero's been busy trying to defend. He's been trying getting his own third base. I believe 3-gate. Yep, 3-gate blink into a third. This was meant to be a safe opener out of hero. It was meant to be safe. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Aegon. Oh my god, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Fractal Cactus in the chat. Thank you so much, Aegon. Do appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the content, hope you enjoy the casting, hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Hope you enjoy. As the Raven harasses making its way into the natural. Here he is somewhat in position. He's being active with those stalkers. ByuN working towards Stim, building up his bio army. The auto charge does 9 mining. Another auto charge here into the third base. 3 probes going down. Not bad. Raven is still alive. And ByuN, he will eventually break out. For now, still going for more drop play. It is risky, but hero, once again, he's not in position. He moved his stalkers over. He rotated. Drop does slip out. The evolution, baby. See. Ah. And again, ByuN, he's building up into a third CC. So third CC is on the way. He will be expanding. He's just waiting for his upgrade timing. We have Stim, Combat Chills, and +1 all finishing up at the same time. As ByuN moves out, Heroes looking to move in. But again, Heroes had a shaky early game. It's been shaky. Meanwhile, in the main base, we have some reinforcements. It should be enough. Widowmines do burrow. Meanwhile, ByuN gets into the main. It drops into the middle line. And cells are being dealt with. Probes are going down, getting 7 probes already, and here comes the main army straight into the third, and hero completely out of position. Oh wait, no. Cells are moving in. Does have charge. Yeah, he has charge, running into tank fire. Nice retargeting with the tanks. Cells are going down, stalkers as well, but alas, it looks like hero, he should barely hold on here. It takes down both tanks. Hero holds. At the same time, the drop is also being cleaned up. And hero will defend. I did lose actually everything in the main. Everything got depowered. The Artosis pylon, baby. 13 probe kills. And what's scary about what just happened is that, remember, ByuN wasn't all in. ByuN, he's expanding. He's getting a third base. He was building up into a longer game this entire time. We have the Academy on the way. We have Viking production on the way as well. ByuN is getting into the mid game in a much better position, and you can see that reflected in the supplies. This way here, he's just split out so many probes, 15 probes going down. That one Raven still just being such a thorn in hero's side. Still just finding more damage. It's got 9 probe kills in total. That's crazy. 9 probe kills on a Raven. How many in total? 29 probes have gone down this game. Crazy damage. And hero's struggling. Here he's struggling. Prism once again into the main base. Here he does spot the army with the observer. He's aware. He's aware. He's trying to keep up. But currently no splash damage. Prism is shut down. And here he has a worse economy. This is something that should almost never happen as the Raven keeps going. This one Raven, 11 kills, 12, 13. Here he's falling apart. He's trying to work towards disruptors, high risk, high reward, but it's a big Hail Mary play here for hero. Going disruptors of all things. In this kind of game state. And nice kiting here by ByuN. Does pull away, better concave, never goes off. Ooh, doesn't connect. The Zelsa getting a lot done. That's going to be 14 dead SCVs. Nice run by here. Nice counterattack. Hero finally getting some damage here. 17 SCVs. The charge, let's say, pop off. herO defends. And suddenly herO is clawing his way back in, and he's not done. Finding more SCVs, more economic damage. ByuN turns around. And that's going to be 20, 21, 22. Oh my god. 22 dead SCVs, 1 Zealot run by here brings herO back into this game. Economically, he's recovering. Now he's getting his own 4th expansion. Now we have a shield battery to defend against the Raven. And here he's built up to 3 disruptors, soon to be 5 disruptors. It's crazy. And even though herO's army is currently smaller, with the power of disruptors, he can buy a lot of time, and if they connect, he can take a fight. Here he can take a fight. He is clawing his way back in. Zealots are revealed. Oh, disruptors choice. He loses 1, 1, 2, 3 disruptors go down. herO extends, losing almost everything, losing every robo unit. That's 3 immortals and 3 disruptors. That should not have happened. herO, he was coming back in this game. Oh god. Yeah, insane losses in the center. The Raven's still popping up. But that was herO's comeback. 5 disruptors, now suddenly down to 2. Oh. Yeah, down to 2 disruptors. Meanwhile, herO going for another backstab. This time ByuN is ready for it. Let's go to Sensor Tower. Army's in position. Recall not quite worth it, saving 1 Zealot. The 1 Zealot gets saved. And ByuN, he's back in control. Back in control here. Outside of one of these neighbors connecting. And they do graze the army. But again, no major connections. herO can maybe buy some time. As this rate, how many kills? 20? 17 kills on the Raven. This should not be happening. Oh my god. 17. The herO Raven +1 is